Well, I think there shouldn't be sound right now, but I'm not sure. There might be. I'm unmuting. And we are live.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
We're very happy to be hanging out and seeing, well, imagining that we're seeing your faces. We're tired. I mean, it goes without saying.
Yeah.
We're 30-somethings, parents of small children. Of course, we're tired.
Yes. I'm a different kind of tired than usual, though. I've been fighting off a cold the last couple days.
But that voice, I'm alright.
It's just this slight tickle in my throat. Hello, yeah. But it's super frustrating because I've had to stay home from my internship. It's like if it wasn't for the fact that the pandemic is not quite over yet, and the fact that I'm in a
Sound is double or echoey.
Oh,
Fix it, Morton.
Oh no! I think I know what Mom may have done.
Okay. Oh, is it taking the sound from the microphone and the computer?
I'm afraid I might have, because the microphone wasn't connected when
the sound isn't that bad without it.
Yeah.
We can just use the computer sound.
Yeah, let's leave it like that. and see if that changes how the sound.
Hello, Andreas.
No, there's always a few seconds of delay, so we'll see. Sounds very futuristic.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
Much better.
Okay, now let's just unplug this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made the mistake of plugging the external microphone in after we had already turned on the streaming software.
Oh.
And then it got confused.
But anyway, what were we saying?
Oh, just about my throat and my voice. And that, I stayed home for my internship for 2 days. And feels like it might be tomorrow too. But it's like, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm a teacher and I have to make myself heard to a room full of 12, 13-year-olds, that's I could probably have dealt with it. But I'm like, this is yeah.
I don't have too much trouble with my blue snowball. It was literally just that they were both plugged in, so sound was coming out of both places.
Yeah. But he's also this is him talking from,
as a sound technician.
Yeah, he's a sound guy. So he's got different standards.
He's got much higher standards, yeah. But yeah, it's been so I even though I made the thumbnail about Ukraine's Gotland connection and stuff, and we do have stuff to talk about that, I haven't been watching a lot and reading a lot because it's just so hard. I want to make the world a better place how I can. I reached out to a lady on a podcast group who escaped.
Wow.
Kiev,
yeah.
Kiev. She's looking to just put the word out as much as she can about. She's like, the only thing that lasts when everything falls apart is your network, your connections.
Yeah.
And that's a message that resonates with me in this channel. So that'd be so awesome if I got to talk to her.
Yeah.
But did you know? I mean, Andreas probably knew. Gia, did you know? Did anybody who may be watching this later, did you know that Gotland has a sister city in Ukraine?
Yeah, Andreas knew. He's like, there's a museum about it in Roma. Yeah, we'd love to go there at some point.
I want to go.
Because, yeah.
Is it one of those things that's only open in the summer?
I have no clue. I've never been there myself either, so,
Okay, when are we going to do this weekend?
I mean, I can look into it.
Okay.
The thing is, too, the kids would not be interested.
Oh, well. Our kids can find interesting things anywhere, and if we let them bring toys or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is
Roma Museum. I'm gonna vlog it. I'm gonna vlog the Roman Museum.
But because basically, there is a town in Ukraine which was originally settled by Swedes through a lot of strange hoops and things. So, I've recently read up a bit on this history. I'm not sure I got everything right, but so the basic story is, back in the 1700s, Sweden controlled a lot of land that we don't currently control, including an island off of the coast of Estonia. And then there was some rich nobleman dude who wanted to use that island for something, and basically told all the people who were already living there, there it says, the originally Dogge Estonia, yeah. So he told all the people there to scram, and they were like, but this is our entire lives. And then the Queen of Russia was like, I'll give you some land that we're not using.
And they were fishermen, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So they were like, here, you can move here. And they just, were handed a map. They're like, go ahead, bye-bye, have a nice trip. And it was rough and horrible. And it was, as Stalin forced them into Ukraine. Well, they were moved several times. There was a lot of stuff. They've been in and out repeatedly, because the first Gammalsvenskby, from what I understand, was founded in the 1700s.
But you were getting ready to say that it was such a long trek.
Yeah, because this was they were not at all, like they did not have the resources for that journey, and it was really hard on them, and they lost a lot of people just on the journey. And then once they got to this place where they had been promised that, hey, there will be a village for you here, there was basically nothing, and they had to just start from scratch.
And it was
like, build their
landlocked
homes.
too.
Yeah, like that's the thing. These were island people. They were mostly fishermen, and they were like, "Here, it's great farmland." I mean, yeah, sure. None of you know anything about farming, but have fun. So it was really, really hard on them, and so a lot of them died, and then a lot of them eventually like moved away from there. But then, yeah, uh, but then came back like several times. People left, and then yeah, as Andreas said in the comments, I just realized the comments are not displaying properly on the stream.
How rude.
Let's see if I can fix that. Come on. Oh no, here we go. It should. Why are you not?
Maybe it is, we just don't see it.
No, well, but if we don't see it, no one sees it.
Well, in this pause of our story, you may admire my hair. My kids spent a lot of time putting rubber bands into my hair.
I just need to refresh it.
Oh,
it was
okay.
that easy.
So where were you?
Okay, yeah. So people left. Stalin forced them back to their little village. Also, Germans, like there was a bunch of German settlements around them too. So that was also like it was really rough on them. Oh, hello, Dantes.
Hey, so good to see you.
And so it was just a really a lot of struggle back and forth. But now I skipped Stalin, but there was other stuff in between because before Stalin, so the Gotland connection, as Andreas mentioned, like a lot of people moved, and that was I think around the turn of the century, like between the 1800s and 1900s. Around there, a lot of people were like wanting to get out of there, especially because it was like the people who wanted to hold on to their Swedish heritage. It had gotten a lot harder because now most of the town, like surrounding it, was German and of course Ukrainian. So it was like it was a lot of different cultures, and so the people who wanted to hold on to Swedish heritage, a lot of them came back to wanted to move to Sweden, and then it was specifically it was this one that I read about. There was a guy who became a priest on Gotland. He moved up to Sweden to study at seminary, and then he got assigned to. I'm pretty sure it was in Roma where that museum is now, which is sort of middle of the island ish, where he was the priest, and then he brought like family with him, and like other people also moved here around that same time. And so we have several families here that are that like have their roots in that town in the Ukraine.
Wow.
And so some of them, of course, have stayed in touch in various ways. And there is, and as of, well, did we see? Was it just? It was fairly recently.
Fairly recently, there's like 8 families left.
But this thing was, it was fairly recently that they made it officially like a sister city-ish thing. Gotland isn't a city; it's like the municipality of Gotland made Gammalsvenskby, which of course means Old Swedish Village. That's the literal name of the town. It's just Old Swedish Village. Is an official sister town of Gotland. So it's a lot of So there's a lot of connection there. Like, I'm sort of sad that I don't have that personal connection, but I know that that's, something that, people are really connected and have been staying in touch with people there and such. And from like last thing I saw in like the local news, like the last thing that they said about it was that they had been in contact with people from there Friday last week.
Oh wow.
And like and like at that point that area was still okay. Like they still had internet access, they were still fine, but of course everyone is terrified all the time.
Cannot imagine just having that hanging over. I like every once in a while I'll be on Twitter and I will like, okay, I'm gonna watch something about this and see what's going on, and it's just like stones in your heart, like this person just taking the camera and just turning around, and it looks like hell.
Yeah.
Just, you could tell that it was a beautiful street just completely bombed in black.
Yeah, and it's so, like, that's something I saw that they talked about, just specifically this whole thing about like cultural heritage. Like, speaking of that, like that these connections and this heritage, that there are things that have been like cultural importance that have been destroyed, which is like that is a war crime.
Yeah.
Like,
and the fact that there are people that are defending Russia and saying that Putin is following God and all this ridiculous propaganda, conspiracy, like he's following God to empty out, to lead people to God or whatever. Like, are you people freaking kidding? How can you think that God would be behind this? How?
Yeah, it's sort of interesting, like just the whole thing of like what gets to people. Like, I saw in a Discord server that I'm in, there's like someone who is like an airplane aviation nerd and was personally affected by the fact that like in Ukraine they had a like one of a kind, completely unique, one of, if not the largest airplane in the world. There was only like one of, and it got hit and destroyed. And it was, and it's like everyone who's into aviation and things like that is just fuming about that.
Oh gosh. Yeah, Andrei said the Russian people are against it, but it's like the young Russian people who are able to actually see what's happening. But we were just talking about that today. The older Russian people that get all of their information from propaganda sources that don't use the internet, and Russia's or Putin's gonna just do everything he can to try to slow the spread of truth.
Yep. They've closed down any news source or social media that anyone who dares call it a war is censored.
But I did watch a video of this guy who is like, he's a Russian guy who is a prisoner of war, calling his mom, and he's like, "Mom, I've been captured." And she's like, "What? Like, don't worry, they're treating me very fine, but you need to take this message to people. We started this. We were the aggressors. What we did was wrong. Tell people." And she's just crying like, "But why don't they let you go?" He's like, "Mom, why would they? I wasn't supposed to be here."
Yeah.
It was like obviously you have to trust that they're the right English subtitles for the Russian, but all the emotion in their voices really matched the text. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw another clip that was like a Russian like giving a press conference after he's like, I thought we were doing the right thing. We had been told we were doing the right thing, and I came here and I saw what was happening, and it was not what we had been told. And he was like apologizing for his part in it. It was.
Well, yeah. Talk about the Russian exchange student here on Gotland.
No, that wasn't here on Gotland, but it was in Sweden.
Wasn't on Gotland. Oh, okay.
But yeah, I saw a news report where there's like, but I mean, I've heard of like it's so hard for Russians outside of the country now, like because most Russians who have actually spent time anywhere else are aware of how wrong this is and do not support it. But then with all the sanctions against Russia, it affects them too. Like there was this young woman who's studying in Sweden who was like, she was talking about having to empty out her bank account because all the major credit card companies are cutting all ties with Russia by Thursday, which means her bank cards will no longer be working, and she cannot currently get a Swedish bank account. So she's like, I've never in my life had to carry cash, and now that's all I can do. I cannot do anything else.
All these young people that don't know what it's like to carry cash. Aww.
We pretty much never carry cash.
Now, in the last 10 years of my life.
Of course, yeah.
But I remember the time before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Uppsala, any sort of research cooperations they've been doing with Russia and Belarus is like just cut.
But like Andreas said, Putin wants to go back to Soviet, but it's like it doesn't matter how much people boycott Russia and stuff. He's on a holy war.
Yeah, but the thing is, eventually, people will stop listening to him.
Hopefully.
The thing is, because that's the thing about the sanctions, is that, okay, yes, we're affecting Putin, but more than that, we are affecting his bankroll. We are affecting the oligarchs, the really rich families that are the ones who are financing everything that he does. And they understand, and if they cut their support for what he is doing, there's not really any way that he can keep going.
Is that maybe Andres said the thing that Putin has painted himself into a really bad corner?
Yeah, because there's nothing he can do to save face now, which is bad.
Oops. Did I go and totally unprovoked bomb all these cities? My bad. Can we just forget this happened and just be friends again?
There were they were trying to with their continued show of force. There were actually Russian fighter planes in Swedish airspace last week. And they were and everyone sort of agrees that it was just Russia testing the waters to see how you'd react. And Sweden just immediately had our own air force up, escorting the Russian planes out of our airspace. And we just immediately reacted with nope, you don't do that. And and we're not taking it.
Whoa.
And it's it was, it was never going to be a confrontation. And now there won't, now everyone's pretty sure that there won't be, especially with the international pressure on Russia right now. And that, it's sort of funny that all of this started with Russia trying to reduce the influence of NATO. But what they're doing now is increasing the influence of NATO, because now Denmark's like seriously talking about joining, as we talked about last week. That Sweden is like probably still not going to, but we are like more open to closer cooperation with NATO than we've ever been, and it's like, and it's like, and we've also like we are increasing our like military cooperation with Finland more than we have in the past, and so basically Russia's just
bringing the world together.
Yeah.
Wow. I can just see the conspiracy theorist evangelical people saying, "This is the beginning of the one world government." Ah.
Yeah.
Revelations doesn't have to do with the current times. Most of it already happened.
Yeah.
The worst thing is the attack on the nuclear power plant. I don't know much about that. I heard of it, but what's the deal with that?
I mean, it's they attacked, and I think did some damage too, or yeah. Oh yeah, Britain has already promised military assistance to Sweden in case of a Russian attack, and the thing is, if it comes to that, because Britain is in NATO, like if Russia attacks Sweden in a way that provokes Britain enough, that would pull in all of NATO.
Oh so gosh, then that really would be World War III.
Yeah.
But Andreas, if you have anything to add about the power plant, I would be interested to hear. Oh, man, this world is just weird.
It is.
But does that make you feel a little better that Britain's on our side and NATO's on our side?
I mean, I was sort of.
You weren't worried?
Nah, yeah, like it's fairly clear. Like Sweden has strong enough diplomatic relations with enough countries and within and outside the EU that it's like there's like we would always get support. So that
because we recycled so well, right? It's because we're such good recyclers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, but I didn't really have much to add. And
do you want to call it a short?
Yeah, I mean you can.
One?
You can keep hanging out a bit.
If anybody wants to hang out with me, Sweden has a good political reputation.
Yes, we do.
Good job, Sweden. High five.
But yeah, I need to let my voice rest.
Okay. Love-oos.
Thank you very much.
My wonderful husband.
It's been good.
Yay for him.
It's been real. It's been good. It hasn't been real good.
Always.
Oh, I woke up one of the kittens.
Oh no. Who wants to see a kitten? I will go get a kitten and see if anybody wants to hang out with just boring old me. I'm not old yet. I turned old in 3 months and I turned 36. Where's my babies? Where's my babies? Oh, my kittens. Meow. Oh, my cuddles. Oh, my cuddle boy. Oh, my cuddle boy. I love this baby. I love this baby so much. So Andrea said Russia caused bits of a nuclear power plant to catch fire. Oh man. So like if that power plant like really was bombed like terribly. That would be like a lot of nuclear radiation. Why would you leave me, Carlson? I thought you were my baby. How could you do this to me? I thought what we had was real. Carlson. He'll be back. He'll be back. Andres said, so adorable, boo. So, I'm guessing the two people that are here are Andres and Gia. How are you doing with all of this and with life in general? Andres says, they've grown a lot. Yes, they have. It's been like half a year now. It's so weird. Amazing what time does to little baby kittens. Makes them into big baby kittens. Oh, he's eating. Sorry. This is just... I get so used to talking to somebody that it's like weird to be alone. What was I gonna say? Oh, my next podcast conversation is gonna be pretty intensely cool with an Australian guy who's dealt with a lot. His story is intense. It has to do with corruption in Zimbabwe. Andres says, I'm worried. We are worried about our friends in the faith and light and Lash community in Ukraine. Oh, do you know people there personally? In that community? Man, that is rough. Knowing people are there. That would just talk about feeling like stones in your chest and stomach. Sending up my hopes and just believing that they will be safe. Yeah. Have you had any contact with them? Ooh. Andreas actually knows someone in the place that was bombed. Oof. You guys must be watching the news like constantly trying to figure out if they're okay. Or avoiding it because it's just too hard to watch the news too much. Gaia says, I want to continue hanging out with you, but I also wouldn't mind catching up on sleep. She says, I don't mind you calling yourself old, but boring? Serious? Well, get some sleep, Gaia. This is not the most exciting and stuff stream, but obviously with what's going on in the world, it just wouldn't feel right to, I don't know, be the normal self, but I still believe in connection, and I don't begrudge anyone who wants to make something fun and light at all, because entertainment and distraction also plays an important role. Andres said, trying not to watch the news too much and just get overwhelmed by it all. It reminds me of a conversation I had with the singer John Butcher. That was really good. I think it's really fitting for these times, where we talked about how it's really easy to feel like you have to fight all the battles, but you can't. And sometimes you just have to take your moment of peace and turn off all the things and just allow yourself to be happy and in the moment and with the people you love. And I think I should share the link to that conversation with him in the community tab, because I think it's really important message. Gaia says, I'm not doing so great at the present. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's annoying when it's like that. It's so funny when I try to every month go to the David Hoffman live stream, and I don't think he like knows that the comments are delayed. So sometimes he'll ask a question and then he'll just sit and wait for people to answer. And he's like, don't just sit and wait. This is precious minutes. We want to hear your stories. We want to connect with you. It's not instantaneous. Oh, Andres is editing a podcast too. That's cool. What's your podcast about? Let me guess. Music. Yes. I'm having such powerful conversations lately, since I've been having pre-conversations as well to really get to the heart and the meat of what we want to talk about, so that when we record, I have a list of really clear questions and thoughts to go from. And the conversation I recorded yesterday was with such a beautiful person. Such a cool person. Aaron Whitfield. He works at a college. He helps people. It's hard to put into words just how much our souls were connecting. We were kindred spirits, and the conversation just pinged. You know what I mean? It just felt good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now that you say it, I recognize that. Andres, what's upon a story time about storytelling. That's really cool. Can you send me the link? Oh man. Podcast. Speaking of podcasts, I was listening to an amazing one that was recommended to me by a friend Josh, of how the rich, let me just look, because if I can see it. Come on. How the rich ate Christianity. And the podcast is called Don't Mind My Swearing. It's the name of the podcast, Behind the Bastards. And how the billionaires influenced Christianity to make people think that, in America, to make people think that it was always capitalistic, when it was not. Gia shared these emojis, and the thing like tried to hide it like it was bad. That was kind of funny. It's like, I'm so bad at remembering names. This is what it looks like. But like, pastors were bribed to teach messages on freedom, and In God We Trust was added to money and postage stamps and things, but it was the meaning behind it was a capitalistic message. It's a funny. Oh no, I lost my place. Don't you? In 1966. Don't you hate it when you did absolutely nothing, and then where you were listening to something just goes straight back to the beginning? Freaking egg. You're fired. It's funny, but sometimes it's a little bit annoying, but when they're actually sticking to the story, it's really good. And I learned so much. And I get so angry about how lied to I've been. So many people have been. But I won't attempt to sum it up because I won't do a good job. That's cool that, Andres, that you're editing it for your wife. Very nice. I'm sure she appreciates you. I'm suddenly hit with tiredness. So I think I will probably go. But I wanted to thank you guys for hanging out. My wonderful friends Andreas and Gaia. And for anybody who's watching this after the fact, thank you for listening to my tired ramblings up to this point. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how you're holding up. And yeah. Yes, I was just reading the comments for a sec. I will give Andreas a chance to drop the link for Gaia. And I did want to say thank you to everyone that helped me reach 1,000 subscribers. It was so exciting. And I was at 1,027. And then I looked yesterday and it was 1.09. What? Where did all those subscribers come from? I couldn't even see. I didn't know if it was another huge jump from the conversation I had with Dantes that has over 3,000 views now. But all of a sudden I was at 1,100. Wow, that was one of the fastest 100 subscribers ever. So that's really, really cool to get that growth. And yeah, thanks for being here. I guess, Gaia and Andres can also connect to the WhatsApp group. So he can share that link there. Rightio. Hugs. Nostrils of death. And Strom.